And we're back. Week 13 in the books, everybody. Great to see y'all. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving with your families. I know you did. This is Yards After the Catch podcast. It's your boy Al. I'm back with Brian and Mark this week. How we doing, gentlemen?
How we doing, everyone? Happy Thanksgiving.
Hope
Happy
y'all.
Turkey Day. Good to be back.
Great to see y'all. Yeah, crazy week in the NFL, but I hope everybody added 10 pounds at home and stretched their belts. That's what it's all about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got it, dude.
Hell yeah. So we're gonna talk week 13. We're gonna kick it off right where we started on Thursday afternoon. Green Bay Packers going on the road to Detroit. And let me tell you, this was nothing short of an amazing game. I mean, just had a little bit of everything, brought it down to the wire. Green Bay ultimately prevails at the last second. They pull off a much needed win, 31-24 against a surging Lions team. Uh, another example of some serious cannibalism in this NFC North. I mean, now that we get down to the end of the year, it's gonna be really critical to have games like this. But I want to hear initial thoughts and takeaways from this game.
So for me, any type of NFC game right now, I feel like is NFC to me. This feels like the better division. It's just a constant juggernaut of infighting and cannibalism, as you said. And this game is a testament to that. I think the major factor in this, I think Detroit would have won if St. Brown was in the game, had he not gotten hurt. Um, their weapons will always, be, studs, put it like that. Even a guy named Tom Kennedy, who I've never heard of, was making good catches. So shout out to him. But
Walk on from the
no,
seventh row.
yeah, you literally from the grassy knoll came out Tom Kennedy, and he did well. But Jared Goff, when there isn't a consistent run game, even though they ran for 119 yards, he looks different, and that's what you saw here. And he's still a great quarterback, but Green Bay gets the upper hand and just the way their offense hums when it clicks. And I still don't think they're a complete team. The defense is doing great. Micah Parsons is the first player ever to have five straight 12 sack seasons to begin his career. Kudos to him. Don't wish it wasn't on the Cowboys though. Don't need him. But it's a good game. It's a much needed win as a Dallas fan, but overall, I think this may have put the nail in the coffin for the Lions this season.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I think we picked this division a couple weeks ago, and I think it was us three plus Robert, and I think we were all thinking Detroit Lions taking this division. But yeah, 2 weeks is a long time in the NFL, and it's looking like the Lions are losing ground. Funny thing, almost had Frank Ragnow come out of retirement to start at
Mm-hmm.
center for them. And I guess he had like a grade 3 hamstring tear that he just didn't know about and was walking around with, and
Mm.
that fell off quick. So a little bit of hope for them kind of fleeting there. But yeah, we always talk about Jordan Love and his inconsistency, but this was one of his better days. I mean, he matches his career high and touchdown passes, doing these fade away deep balls. Like I don't he's like the only one that I think I see do that like he does, and it always blows my mind. Um, but yeah, they just kind of showed out. The defense is playing well. Parsons, I know the Cowboys don't looks like they don't need him, but Packers are happy to have him, and they're going after Chicago for sure.
Yeah. I would say one thing with Jordan Love, it always feels like he's like a Aaron Rodgers light. Like he wants to be Aaron Rodgers so bad, but then it's just like that Joker comes out and he does like wild stuff. It really is. It's like taking all of the former Packer quarterbacks and putting them into one person. And like the wildness of Favre with just like the pinpoint accuracy and absolute magic of Rodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. All great points. And it's going to be very telling to see, like, what if they can compete with Chicago, which I can't believe is coming out of my mouth. But there's definitely, it's a new day with Ben Johnson in Chicago. Again, they still have an arduous schedule. Green Bay's got a few cupcakes to remain, and then they have some cannibalistic games here in the division. So it's going to be a wild last few weeks here in the season. Really exciting stuff. But I do want to pivot to the other Thursday game. 4 o'clock, Kansas City Chiefs going into Dallas. And let me tell you, folks, Dallas is the real deal. I hate saying it because this was what I referred to as the Satan Bowl. Two most hated teams in my life. That's for damn sure. But Dallas holds on to win in a somewhat of a stunning upset to some people. Who would have thought that we'd be sitting here the first week of December and KC would be on the outside looking in? Third place in their own freaking division. Three spots back in the wild card. It's just unbelievable, absolutely remarkable. But all that being aside, I definitely want to get Brian's thoughts first on his boys taking home a W on Thanksgiving.
So I'm trying to stay humble, right? So like obviously I'm with a 6-5-1 record, we're still on like the ninth seed, and we're working our way in. We were talking beforehand before the podcast that the only way really to win this division in my eyes, get in the playoffs is win the division right now for Dallas, just because the strength of schedule with Carolina and the 49ers is just, it doesn't look like it's going to shake out that way. So this is a must win. Every game after this for Dallas is a must win. You have to go undefeated with the hope that the Philadelphia, loses a few games. This game right here though, it's the most complete football team I've seen of Dallas, this season. Just every phase, every step, consistency, and not making bad plays. Dak, it looked like he could be top 5 in MVP voting right now. This is throws. He's the number 1 quarterback this year on pressure, while being pressured on his throws. It's fantastic. And Javonte Williams and Malik Davis was a great 1-2 combo there, scoring both touchdowns. And George Pickens is right now like the number 2 wide receiver in the league behind JSN. And with CeeDee Lamb, who's usually a top 5 all around every year, as the complement, Wood Ferguson, this offense, has continued to grow. And with Quinnen Williams, and to be honest with you, the rotation at pass rush this year, with Jadeveon Clowney having a throwback game, and guys like James Houston and Dante Fowler, we're just getting fresh on the D-line. We're stopping the run, and it's going well. I think this game is more of an indictment on the Chiefs, and that is that dynasty's over. And there's no fault except they aged out. That's it. They didn't, I remember saying this year after year on podcasts, is that the worst thing about winning is that you get bad draft picks and you can't replenish. So you have to be smart as a GM to either skip a year to get a good pick in the next year and hope to get some young quality studs, or you have to really spend the money in free agency and work out your contracts, or let top guys go. They never did it. They didn't replenish. They had Rashee Rice, but the O-line is still decimated. The D-line, really, Chris Jones looks like he's old, and Karlaftis isn't what he's lived up to his contract. You're not replenishing, the constant quality that you once had, and that's the problem here. Mahomes threw for 4 touchdowns and lost. I don't think that's ever happened for him.
Wow, that's an interesting stat. Yeah, there's a good chance that probably never happened before.
Yeah, it's definitely uncommon there. I'm going to give props to Brian here because I kind of scoffed at him when he picked the Cowboys winning by 13 over the Eagles, which they didn't win by 13, but they did win.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really emerging right now. I'm not a betting man, but if I was going to bet, I'd say they're a wild card team. I think they can slide into that 7th spot. There's a few teams that are, reeling right now. Like, the Lions aren't in, but I think the Cowboys are going to take care of them. We'll talk about them that later. But, yeah, with KC, it's just like their chances are running slim. Like, they really needed to win at least one of the last 2 games they had. And it's just – I don't know what happened. It's like my Bills. Like, the roster hasn't changed drastically, and maybe that's it. Maybe they did need to change their roster drastically, like Brian's saying. Replenish that young talent. And yeah, I don't know if the dynasty's over. I will say that the Patriots didn't really miss the playoffs during their dynasty, so it's just the Broncos got better, the Chargers got better, and KC just kind of stayed the same. And we're seeing the result of that.
I'll say one thing with that. When I say the dynasty over, I think after this season, they have to blow up the team personally, right? So like the guys that won the rings aren't going to be there no more. Maybe Rashee Rice, Rashee Rice is going to be there. Worthy's going to be there. Mahomes is going to be there. I think you got to let go of Kelsey. I think he is good, not great. And I think that with the loyalty of being, an all-time great, that's the problem. Dallas let go of Wooden and he went to the Raiders. Kelsey has to do Chiefs have to do that with Kelsey. At some point, you just have to rip the Band-Aid off, right? Dallas did it with DeMarcus Ware. He went to the Broncos and won another ring. It just happens. And you have to do it. Also a stat of the Chiefs, they're 1-5 away this year.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, super dependent on that. And even if the wins that you do see on the schedule, like, beating Indianapolis, beating some of these young teams, even though they're quality teams, they're playing the experience card. They're winning, in veteran savvy. But I agree with you guys. I think the Hunt family knows this. I think they're smart enough to start to make this transition, whether it's immediately after the season or the following season. But, these things have a shelf life. The NFL stands for not for long. We know that. And whether you're talking about injuries, you're talking about dynasties, it's so hard to win one title, let alone multiple titles. And this is certainly no shortage of example of that. But all great stuff. It's going to be interesting to see how the last few weeks play out. And obviously, Dallas is riding high; they're red hot. Chiefs sitting in a very uncharacteristic 5-5, 6-6 right now, and just kind of meandering in the middle there in the AFC West standing. So we'll move on. The following day, we got a nice gift on a Friday afternoon. Chicago Bears going into cold, awful Philadelphia. Chicago, two powerhouse teams looking for the edge here in the NFC. But Chicago takes care of business, and you could hear literally the frustration from the fans. I mean, we know that Philly fans are rough. They're mean people. They're mean SOBs. They love their team. But they have the highest accountability and standards, and they were booing every single play that Hurts came off the field on fourth down. So with that being said, Chicago takes care of business. Ben Johnson is the golden boy there in Chi-Town. What do we think about this game? How do we feel about Chicago? How do we feel about Philly?
I think it's good that Chicago plays in cold weather because, they're used to it. Going to Philly shouldn't be a big deal for them, and it showed. Ben Johnson's the real deal. You can see why he waited a year to take a head coaching job. I'm pretty sure he could have gone to Washington, maybe another team I'm missing right now. But he's helping Caleb figure it out. Swift is having like a resurgence of a year. Adunze is developing. You got Komet and Loveland at tight end. Like they're kind of stacked on offense. So it's like that's just all fun for Ben Johnson. I mean, he's ripping off his shirt in the locker room, like flexing. Like these guys are loving it. They're eating it up. Like I'm eating it up too, honestly. Like it's good to
you
see.
Want to play for him.
Yeah, dude. 100%. I want to play for him.
Yeah.
Let me take a hand off. But but it's like
watch that hammy.
Like this is just good for Chicago. Like I know Chicago, like they won in '85, and that's a legendary team. But like that town deserves a good football team, and
yes, they do.
They're blessed with Ben Johnson. For Philly, there's trouble. There's a little. It seems like there's some toxicity, with AJ Brown and Patullo calling plays on offense. I don't think that's really working. But like we're saying with like the Chiefs, and I mentioned with the Bills, like basically the same roster. So it's just really like a head scratcher. So I guess it really just falls into like, you need to keep evolving that roster. And they've really been leaning on that defense. But when you're playing a top offense like Dallas, like there's only so much you can do. So, I mean, and Chicago is obviously playing very well offensively too. But yeah, I don't know what they should do. Maybe Nick Sirianni needs to be calling the plays more. It's kind of a head scratcher. So, what do you think, Brian?
Yeah, so I think the main issue with Philadelphia is two things. I think that last year became so one-dimensional with the resurgence of Saquon Barkley that had been opened up, brought an extra guy in on the box, didn't have to run nickel, and then when Hurts got into play action, Smith and Brown and Goddard would dice it up with Hurts, right? That was their bread and butter. Now, after having the most carries of a running back in a very long time, he definitely looks like he regressed. And that's not no knock to him. He could probably this season he probably won't hit 1,000 yards, or he's close to it. Maybe he'll hit like 900 and change. But at this path right now, where the offense is getting shut down, it's not looking like it. It reminds me of when DeMarco Murray actually went to Philadelphia after his big rushing season on Dallas in 2016, right? He had like 700 and change that next year, and he just looked tired. Following year in Tennessee, he bounced back, right? So this might just be you really wore down the tires from that long road east to west coast drive, and you got to go into the store and go pick out a new pair, right? With Barkley, he might just need a little more time to heal, or they might need a new running back. Like to be honest, I like Tank Bigsby that they picked up from Jaguars. I think he's a house, reminds me of Brandon Jacobs and can run over the field. I also think with them, then losing their offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, who's fantastic, to Kevin Patullo, who is a very dear friend of Sirianni, is a negative because he's not going to take play calling away from him because he would basically lose a relationship in his life. And B, they're so one dimensional in the passing game, just on route tree alone, that AJ Brown and Devontae Smith are running 40% less route variation than last year. That's insane to me that you're only dialing up specific routes, not opening it up and being more varied in your attack when it's not working now after week 13. So I think they're falling off the hill. I see them missing the playoffs, to be honest with you. Or making it to the 17th. I see them completely flipping with Dallas. I don't know. This team right now, I don't trust at all. I mean, I think it's a lot of infighting, a lot of dysfunction, and if they make it, I see one and out as well. Chicago, phenomenal. Ben Johnson's the GOAT. Swift and Monganai are phenomenal. I would love to see. I think next season they might have to get rid of Swift and make Monganai the fullback because he's just outdoing Swift week to week, even though Swift's playing great. I think the real negative though to this team is that it's the quarterback Caleb Williams. He's throwing 58% completion percentage this year, and then 9-3. If they had an actual competent quarterback, hopefully next year, one more year with Ben Johnson, he'll reach that. But if they had Jared Goff on this team, let's say there's a competent quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over and makes completions, this team might be undefeated. So, I think it's the development of Caleb. I'm seeing it, but I'm not. You can't be thrown below 60%. Be honest with you, it can't be thrown below 65% in this league anymore. So he needs to make those throws. Like DJ Moore looks like he's a bad receiver right now because he can't make catches right now. He can't make throws right now. So.
No, all valid points, and just harkening back to the offensive problems that this team is facing. I can't remember, and help me out, guys. I think there was a few years ago, may have been Sirianni's first year. They won 10 straight, and they nosedived at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So this has a lot of the earmarks of the same problems. Finishing the season strong, going in with your best energy into the playoffs, and some of this again could be just championship fatigue. It's a long season. You're kind of coasting week to week, but they put themselves in predicaments where they lose to teams they should be, and it's inexplicable the way they collapsed to Dallas, giving up 24 straight. There's some real concerns with this team, and it could be Patullo, but it could also be Sirianni. I think Jalen Hurts is certainly culpable, and there's plenty of blame to go around. I think the thing that really just jumps off the page to me, if we're looking at the stats here, the fact that Chicago doubled them up in first downs and time of possession was just unbelievable. They completely took over the game. I mean, completely dominated them on yards per play. And the fact that this third down efficiency, 4 of 12, when you're giving up well over 50% on third down to Chicago, you can't get your guys off the field. And we talk about how good this defense is for Philadelphia, but if your guys are gassed, they're gassed. And that's really the problem, That's the real problem.
And I'll even say this. A.J. Brown had a career game with 10 catches, 132, and 2 touchdowns. He's not the problem. The problem is that they can't run the football.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
13 carries to 56 yards isn't going to cut it.
Nope. Absolutely not. Yeah. Yeah. They got outrun by 200 yards. It's unbelievable. Yeah. It's you're making the offense predictable. You're shutting down these possessions for yourself. It's just it's very difficult to play a lopsided offense such as that. But we'll find out at the end of the year. I mean, there's certainly a few weeks to go and some very important games to go, as we talked about with some of those NFC matchups. So lots to figure out. Philly, don't hold your breath. We'll come back to you. Let's move on to the 1 o'clock slate on Sunday. We had an important battle down in the AFC South. Houston Texans going on the road visiting the Indianapolis Colts. Houston's defense showed up. This team was absolutely ready to play. Kept Colts to 281 total yards, total offense. Absolutely dominant performance. Stroud's first game back, I believe, and
Yep.
they were just fantastic. Well over 500 from third down efficiency. This team was rocking and rolling. I want to hear your guys' thoughts about where the AFC South is now, with Jacksonville taking a little bit of a leap, because we won't talk too much about them until the playoff picture here. But tell me about the AFC South, where you guys are feeling, and your thoughts on this game.
I feel like Houston's gaining ground here. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think NFL fans really woke up when they saw the Bills play them on Thursday night and gave up 8 sacks. Like, that is jarring against any team. And Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter off the edge. It's as good as it gets, really. And I know Stroud didn't have a great game. He threw a pick, no touchdowns, but it's good to get him back out there. I know Davis Mills has held things together, but you need CJ Stroud under center if you want to make a playoff run here.
Yep.
And the Colts, it's like, they're still competitive, but I guess Daniel Jones has a fractured fibula, and I think you can walk.
Yep.
You can walk on that apparently, and even run a little bit. But how long is that going to hold up? And you have the Texans surging, you have the Jaguars in first place. Like, for a team that we thought was the 1 seed, and just kind of dominating everyone they played, like, they kind of fallen from grace here. So I honestly kind of see the Colts falling out of the playoffs at this point, and the Texans jumping in. And
Wow.
I know the Jags play the Colts twice, I believe.
Yes. Yep.
I could see the Jags winning both those games and just kind of having a stranglehold on the division at this point. Liam Cohen's really turned that team around, and they have enough at receiver with Myers. I know Thomas has had kind of a down year, but Etienne is kind of resurged this year. So I do kind of think it's the Jags division at this point, and unfortunately for the Colts, after a hot start, I think they're kind of fading. You need your quarterback to have a healthy leg to win, I think.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think they're going to miss the playoffs. I'm just looking at their schedule right now. They do Jaguars, Seattle, 49ers, Jaguars, Texans.
Ooh.
Like, realistically, they could go 0-5, and that's just because I think San Francisco's getting right healthy and, hitting it at the right time. And, this team has a lot of potential, but I see a lot of flaws in their defense right now. And Jonathan Taylor is starting to slow up a little bit after that big, boom in the beginning of the season. So
he was the best player in football.
Best player in football. And then they started throwing the ball more. Every team, at the end of the day, the biggest issue with football is that they keep stats. If you didn't keep stats, so many teams would win because there'd be no ego involved. It's really the worst part of the sport.
I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Like, if it wasn't matter for passing yards and receiving yards and hitting 1,000 and getting 4,000 and having
interceptions,
the game would be played completely different, and it'd be played honest. And that's the whole issue right now. Like, he should be getting 40 carries a game and retired after next season because he's done. Like, that's like if you're thinking the best option to win the game, right? To win the game, that's what you do. I remember in high school, our running back, we played a team that we could not throw against. He ran for 54 carries for 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. And a juggernaut of a game in the rain up in the Bronx. And guess what? We won because we had controlled time and possession.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what you have to do. And this team, they have to do that. Texans, I love the Texans. I love the defense. CJ Stroud needs to play better, or Davis Mills is going to still look to me like a better option. But and the running game, honestly, Chubb and Marks actually complement each other very well. Chubb is a sole red zone guy now, and I love it. That's what he should do. I don't want to protect his knees. And Marks is playing. Marks honestly has the feelings of he could eventually become a Pro Bowler right now. The way he's playing, in the rushing and in the receiving game.
Yeah, absolutely. All good stuff. I tend to differ a little bit. I still have a hold on hope for Indianapolis, but I think people have caught on to their tricks. I still have good faith in Shane Steichen. We were still hyping his praise about Coach of the Year, possible candidacy. I think that he still has the opportunity to get this back on track, but it's gonna be a juggernaut of 5 remaining weeks in this season, and that's really my concern as well. It's not for certain that Houston's going to win out, and it's not certain that Jacksonville is not going to plunder as well. So uh, we will see. I still like Indianapolis's chances, but I appreciate you guys weighing in on that. And in terms of the game, I mean, it was just it's one of those that, like, if you're a classic football fan, you love that balance of offense, defense, and some of the highlights that come with that.
Mhm.
If you're a casual fan or a chick, not so much. But it was a good time. Certainly an important game on the books for the AFC South and the way things are going to shake out. But moving on, we'll move to the NFC South, where we had quite the upset of the weekend. Carolina taking care of business on their home turf against the red hot Rams. Stafford and the boys coming in looking hot, but Carolina had something for them. And this defense did not get a lot of credit the entire year. We were kind of shitting on them all year. Desmond has always been calling them the Turd Bowl. Robert's been shitting on it. Everybody's kind of having their way with them, but they showed up to play. They took care of business, 31-28, outlasting the Rams. They moved to 7-6, and the Rams regressed to 9-3. Still top of the division, but definitely a tightening window there in the NFC West for the Rams. But Carolina, well balanced game on the ground and through the air. I thought that they just played a masterful game. I thought. Honestly, I think this is kind of what you wanted to see with Bryce Young. They got home on him twice, but we knew that was going to happen with this Rams defense. We know it's fantastic, but he got the ball out, no interceptions, had a 147 rating at QBR. Guys, what do we think about this game? How were you guys as absolutely shocked as I was?
Not really. I expected a trap game just because
Okay.
I kept on watching the line get lower and lower as the days went on, and the after I was on last week or 2 weeks ago, I said, "Oh, Stafford's thrown 27 touchdowns and 0 interceptions." I was like looking at the schedule, and I'm like, "They'll lose to Carolina." That's just how the
Go back to
NFL goes, right? Yin and yang, right? It fixes
not so
itself.
fast.
Exactly. They're still my favorite to go to the Super Bowl. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I think they're playing a little too pass happy right now and getting away from their run. I really don't like that they're actually going away from Kyron Williams into Blake Corum, even though he had a good game, Blake Corum. Um, Williams just has that. I just trust Williams more, and he has the more of a flash ability that I like to see. Um, Listen, their offense passing is always going to be humming. You just have some lucky breaks, and some bad reads in the beginning of the first quarter. It happens. They responded, but it just wasn't enough to catch up. Carolina is one of the most balanced teams in the league overall in passing and running. And they hold true to that. They have 40 carries for a buck 64. And just had time in possession, and that's the way to do it. And Bryce Young's developing. He's doing well. I read something that he's actually doing a 7-step drop now instead of a 5-step, so he can actually see over the line now a little bit more and get some distance, which
Yep.
seems to be helping him a little bit. All 5'8" of him. So, hopefully he continues to excel and stuff like that. He's 18 for 9 TD to INT right now, so
Yep.
he's doing decent, and he's progressing. That's all you want to see. They're not expected to make the playoffs this season. It's just progression. How can we get better? And that's what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I know last week we were kind of, or really all in the media, people were kind of regarding the Rams as the best team in the NFL. And I'm sure a lot of people still think that. I tend to think that, honestly, but not so sure anymore. The Panthers are not a joke. They definitely have a good home field advantage, and coming all the way across the country for the Rams, it's not an easy task. Um, I think a couple weeks ago I was saying, like, right after Bryce Young threw for what, 443 yards or something like that. I
Mm-hmm.
was thinking, is this his coming out party? I think it might have been, honestly. I mean, not crazy numbers, but 15 to 20, 206, 3 touchdowns. That's efficient. Like,
Yep.
if they're running the ball with Rico Dowdle,
Yep.
Chuba Hubbard had a good game too. Like,
Yeah.
that's all you really need. Um, McMillan is a beast. They're trying to get Xavier Legette involved too. They're 2 first-round picks at receiver, so they're surrounding him with guys that he can toss the ball to.
Mhm.
And they're just a half game behind the Bucks right now, and the
Yeah.
Bucks are battling injuries.
Yep.
They're serious NFC South contenders, and I think we should be respecting all the divisions and all the teams in football all the time.
You never know where you're going to get a gem. I mean,
Yep.
we were shitting on this division. It's like it's Tampa's to lose. You fast forward, we're in the first week of December. Oh shit, Carolina really has a shot at this. And looking at the remaining schedule, they got to play them twice. If they take care of business, I mean, they got a cupcake going in New Orleans. Not hope and pray. They get the host. They get the host shop at Carolina at home, and then they got to go. They have to have Seattle, but at least they got them at home. So that's gonna be a tough game. Definitely one that they have circled for the end of the year. And then you're going to Tampa to finish the year. So I think they have eyes on the prize. They're hungry. This coach wants it. This team is excited, and I think that there's very promising days ahead. Brian, did you have something real quick too? You good?
I was muted, my bad.
Oh
No,
no,
no.
okay.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were chomping or not because usually.
I no, I said like I agreed. I just didn't realize I was on mute.
No, you're good, bro. You're good. Yeah, so sky's the limit with Carolina. I think that they really surprised people with, especially with their consistency the last few weeks. They took a step back with 49ers, but that was kind of expected with a team that's desperate in that 7 seed. But they're playing well. They're playing well right now. Moving on, we'll talk about someone's season, conversely, who's completely over. Stick a fork in them. Minnesota gets shut out by Seattle Seahawks. Seattle hosts Rex Shop at home. They moved to 9-3. Minnesota is officially done for the year. I don't think they've been officially ruled out for the playoffs, but we all know what's good. They can't find a quarterback to save their life. Number 9 is not the answer. And this game was certainly with Brosmer was no shortage of that. That team's in disarray. They're looking towards next year, but Seattle taking care of business at home. They absolutely shut this. They shut this team down. Darnold had a pedestrian game, but the defense took care of business, and they ran it down their throat. Nice balance between Walker and Charbonnet, which pisses us off a little bit if you're a fantasy guy. But what do you guys think about this game? How are we feeling about Seattle in the NFC West?
I love Seattle. I love the defense. I think it's the best in the league. Have him on fantasy with Jason Myers this week, so I got like 60 points combined between the both of them.
Bears, baby, let's go.
Yeah, it was a great game to get into the playoffs as the 1 seed for me in my league. But Walker and Charbonnet aggravate me to the core because Walker is so good and he's just like held back. I hope he actually leaves this team this offseason just to go become an actual number 1 back. But listen, defense controlled. Darnold didn't even really have to play. They could have just ran the ball the entire game. They would have won. So one thing with them, though, is I want to see them involve Raheem Shaheed a little bit more. It just seems that it's not catching as much in this offense as the Saints did. So I want to see that. Minnesota, the GM and what's his name? Kevin O'Connell have to get fired after the season, I think. And that's not even like something that's like, oh my God, they just won after the season. You can't do that. He's the quarterback whisperer. This is gross negligence, as if like you should go to jail for committing a crime. Like this is so bad to the sport of football for what they did to this team. A top 3 defense, they're phenomenal with all this talent in the receiving room, with 2 quality running backs, and you could not get a quarterback. And at the end of the day, this is what happens when you get rid of a good guy, locker room guy, in Kirk Cousins, because he tore his Achilles and you didn't want to wait on him to, get a little healthy in a few weeks. You decided to get Darnold in, who you could have kept on a low, could have kept him, could have kept Kirk, and then they could have battled it out once he got back healthy, whatever, and kept him. You chose the easy route. Forget the guy that's won you games and brought you to a playoff here or there the last few seasons. Let's try it with this guy from Michigan after Darnold even played a good season. And he's horrible. And then they throw in this poor kid, Brosmer, from Minnesota, a rookie. This was like Nate Peterman level of bad. And it's not his fault, though. He's never played with the first team before. This team needs to completely fire their GM, their head coach, Kevin, what's his name? Kevin Flores, who's the defensive coordinator. He should be
Brian Flores.
Brian Flores. He should be promoted to head coach. And the way this season's going, I wouldn't be shocked if Jefferson doesn't ask for a trade if McCarthy's still the starting quarterback next season. It is this team is so upsetting to watch. I refuse. I refuse to watch this team.
Yeah, I understand your frustration. They are entering quarterback purgatory, it seems.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's they're seeing it happen before their eyes, like getting shut out by Sam Darnold, even though he really didn't do much. But yeah, the Vikings, they're entering a weird situation next year. They're gonna need to get competition for McCarthy, but the question is from where? The free agent market this year is not looking great. Best quarterback is probably Daniel Jones, and I
And
still
Mac
think
Jones.
Mac Jones is probably
yeah.
the next best bet after Daniel
Yeah.
Jones, but I wouldn't get too excited with that. I mean, they do have a good roster, so and you're
Yep.
seeing what he can do with a solid roster in San Francisco. So that could be an option, but after that, it's kind of slim pickings. Like you got Kyler Murray. Like, could you try and pry Kirk Cousins back from the Falcons? I don't know with the Penix knee injury. And I don't think the quarterbacks come out on this draft are amazing either. So it's like
Nope.
they might have been better off signing Aaron Rodgers this year.
That might be the answer next season. He'll complete the trifecta.
Crazy enough, maybe he will end up on the
Trifecta.
Vikings, which would be that would be must watch TV, of course.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, Seattle. We kind of identified them pretty early on as a contender this year because Darnold just kind of hit the ground running. He would I wouldn't say he's really an MVP candidate at this point, but I think in the beginning of the year he probably was.
Pro Bowler.
But
I give him Pro Bowl.
Yeah, I think he could get in the Pro Bowl for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you, Brian. Shaheed, I haven't seen much from him, and they gave up 2 picks for him. So it's like you should be making more of an effort to get this guy involved. And he's only under contract this year, I think, too. So it's like you want to get some returns here. Maybe they're saving him for the playoffs. I don't know. Doubt it. But yeah, 2 teams going in different directions, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I could not agree more. And that's kind of the synthesis of this breakdown too, right? It's like Minnesota gross negligence of criminal proportions, like Brian mentioned. It's not the fact that you let go of Darnold. We knew he couldn't win the big game. We understand that. It's Minnesota. There's maybe some voodoo going on up there, but you had a competent quarterback. You had some kind of ground to work with O'Connell and Flores, that duo, that pairing. And now everything, including the spotlight, this kitchen sink is thrown at the 2 of them because they can't move the ball to save their life, and they're riding a great defense. You feel bad for guys like Harrison Smith, players that have been on this defense for a long time. It's not a good service to them, and it's just going to push them, quicker into retirement or to the trade talks because I think this is a full teardown. I really do. And it's too bad because this is a very competitive division, but I think all things are pointing to that for both timing purposes because the cap hits that they have to take with some of the guys on this defense and this roster, and just the gross negligence with which you let Darnold walk out the door and you take basically what we would equate to as a rich kid from from Michigan, having all those weapons on a championship team. It's hard to rate a quarterback in that situation, in that circumstance, and really evaluate him for what he is. So I just think all those things considered. Now, conversely with Seattle, and I'll keep this brief, I do feel like the ceiling is second place in this NFC West. With the Rams' remaining schedule, we thought that this would be a trap game coming to 1:00 in Carolina, but with Seattle, they have a tough road after going on the road to Atlanta. With Indianapolis, I think is going to be a tough game. You got the Rams, you got Carolina, and you got San Fran to finish the year. I think that is a tough road to play. So with that being said, I like them comfortably at that second seed in the NFC West, and I think they're at a really good spot. I think they'll be content with that. If you were to ask them before the year started how their season was going to perform, I think having 11, maybe 12 wins, I think is more than what you could have bargained for if you're a Seattle fan. So sky's the limit.
I think it's the best situation for Sam Darnold too, because the defense is
Yeah.
top number one defense in the league,
Yeah.
honestly, at this point. And you don't have to ask much for him. He's actually doing more than asked. He's actually he's really getting asked to do intermediate routes and checkdowns, and he's really the one airing it out to JSN and making plays. So kudos to him. But it's like this system is perfect. Clint Kubiak is showing that he's going to be a head coach in the league soon, if not next season. So this. If they make it in the playoffs, I wouldn't be shocked if they make a run to the title game. It's one of those teams that just has balance and stability that teams lack. You know what I mean? Put it like this, ready? Great top three defense, right? For an entire season losing record. You never remember the defense.
Yep.
No one ever talks about that, right? So it's like they're doing what they're doing.
100%. 100%. I want to move to the 4:00 slate where our boy Mark got a very redeeming win. Buffalo Bills go into Pittsburgh, take care of business. Pittsburgh regresses back to 500. Buffalo gets back on their winning ways, up to 8-4. Feeling comfortably, feeling a lot better about things. Certainly, opposed to the past 2 weeks prior. Still fighting for that AFC. The wild card positioning, but a very important win nonetheless. They shut down the run. Something that was a weak spot for them, not being able to stop the run. So I'll give the floor to Mark. Tell us about this win and how you're feeling about your Bills.
Yeah, they kind of just stood pat this week because they didn't really get any help from any other team. So they were a 7 seed going in, 7 seed going out.
Yeah.
It is what it is. There's good and there's bad. Great rushing performance. I mean, that was an all-time rushing output in Pittsburgh ever. I think it was 244 yards. So that's a positive. And with two backup offensive tackles after really getting worked by Houston. So that's a positive, but still concerns with the passing game. It's like, Josh throws a bad pick kind of early, and Keon Coleman's back. He catches a touchdown, but doesn't do anything else otherwise. Josh Palmer's still hurt. Kincaid's still hurt. It's like options are running thin. Curtis Samuel's on IR. It's like
you got Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, one catch from Brandon Cooks. Hey, we're getting him warmed up, right? Yeah, we got to get really excited as long as he stays healthy, right, Brian?
Yeah. But one thing.
But yeah, okay. I know Kincaid's supposed to be back this week. I don't know about Palmer, but I'm just they need a dude at the X receiver position, and it's not Keon Coleman. I'm sorry. Definitely a possible trade candidate. I don't know. I don't see anything from him at this point. And I was so deceived week 1 against Baltimore when he had 8 catches for 121 yards. I was like, here we go. It's Coleman time. Boy, was I wrong. And then on defense, okay. Good run D performance. I think they allowed 58 yards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we're just not getting to the quarterback. They had that one Bosa strip sack fumble return. And besides that, they're not really getting home. And it's like they've invested in the defensive line, with Bosa, re-signing Epinesa, a bunch of guys on the interior, Larry Ogunjobi. It's like I'm just not getting enough production there to be satisfied on that front. So, yeah, good job stopping the run against the Steelers, but they're not an amazing rush offense to begin with. So I'm not super impressed. Steelers, I don't know. I think it's the end of the Tomlin era, unfortunately, especially if they end up missing the playoffs. I know they're still in the thick of it with Baltimore, but I don't know. It's the same story every year with them, and they're just kind of this fringe playoff team, barely making it, counting on defense, but now your defensive players are all uncles, and it's like, I don't know. I think it's time to turn the page. Ironically enough, it's funny, the Steelers released Darius Slay recently, and the Bills just claimed him off waivers, so it's kind of funny. He played for the Steelers last week and Bills this week, so interesting little nugget. But
Yep.
yeah, it's the Bills are keeping pace, but they got the Bengals and then the Patriots. Those are gonna be some tough games. Um, but the Steelers, I don't know. This might be the nail in the coffin for them, especially if they don't beat Baltimore this week.
If they don't beat Baltimore, that's for damn sure. Yep.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the Steelers they need a complete rebuild. Like this team reminds me of like the late '80s, like 1990 Cowboys, where it just came to the point that like Tom Landry was just out of it, didn't really have that like push anymore. The team was getting older and not the players that they wanted, going from quarterback to quarterback after Danny White, before Aikman. That's what I see right now here. It's like after Big Ben, you're in the revolving door of QB. The team is aging, the defense is aging. There's no real skill positions. What are you doing here? You know, it just didn't make sense to me. Free agency, you don't have a running back anymore. Maybe get a running back. You drafted a guy, Caleb Johnson. You don't play him. Makes no sense. Why do you draft him at a high of a pick? And you pick up DK Metcalf, which I think is a sus adding just because he's good. He's not great. It's like, when you're a physical gifted guy like that and just size, it's pretty easy to get 50-50 balls and get 1,000 yards in this passing league. You need to really show me that route tree and that playmaking ability, which he just seems to lack even in the Seattle days. And he's underperforming. And to be honest, in this game, I thought Aaron Rodgers got a full blown concussion after that hit on Bosa. And I don't know how he stayed in the game. But he definitely looked different afterwards. So
He
I
came
think,
out for
yeah,
a few plays.
few plays, yeah. I
Yeah.
think Tomlin needs to. Resign. To be honest, at the end of the season, if he doesn't get fired, and move on to something better. I think sometimes you just need a fresh start. I think they need an offensive minded coach who's going to bring in youth, draft a guy, and get it going. And then with Buffalo, listen, it was a fantastic win for them, a must win, but there's a lot of holes on the defense. You're really missing out Oliver, who opened up everything for everyone. Um, you know, and then there's not a receiver in sight. This is a team that should look for another Minnesota wide receiver who's unhappy, who likes the cold, but they come over there and get the ball from Josh Allen. Like, maybe Jordan Addison or like Jay Jetta comes over here in the offseason. So, get to throw a few picks. Why not? This team needs a number one. They miss Diggs desperately. Um, and that's at the end of the day, that's their cap. Unless they're just going to run the football and run wishbone with Cook and Allen, I don't really see them going that far.
Yeah, only time will tell. I certainly agree with Pittsburgh and putting the kibosh on them. I don't know if they're going to move off Tomlin just yet because that's a prideful organization. They've only had, 3 coaches in their entire history. He's proven a lot, but he's also underperformed a lot. They've proverbially been called the 8-8 or the 9-8. So it's really just how patient is the Rooney family? How much are they going to live off, pride and brand recognition? And I think it is time to turn the page. I even look at a guy like Cam Hayward, who's been kind of the poster child for that team. And it's like he's coming on 36. It's like
Yeah, he's old. TJ Watt's hurt and old. I just realized something just now. Mike Tomlin is Jason Garrett, just without the Super Bowl wins.
well,
Look at Jason Garrett's record and look at Mike Tomlin's record in the last 4 years. The last 4 years of their career, I bet it's close.
I mean, you're not wrong. I think it's pretty spot on, actually. Yeah. Well, certainly, certainly a crossroads for Pittsburgh. They got 2 important games next week, and then the final week of the season playing Baltimore. It just feels like it's going Baltimore's way, but we'll certainly talk about them in the pick'ems and kind of where we see them in the playoff picture. But we'll touch base briefly on Monday night. It was a pretty lopsided affair, and then we'll get into some of our spot awards for the week and our MVP talks. New England hosting Giants, the tanking, stinking Giants. They take care of business 33-15 on a Monday night. Really wasn't close, but we had some highlights, especially from the defense. Lord have mercy, Ellis pretty much took out Dart. I mean, this guy is a punching bag. And you feel bad because you want to root for him. he's electrifying. He's got a big arm. He's got the face, the whole thing. He's Hollywood. But they take a hot L to the chin, and New England just keeps on steamrolling. I mean, this team looks like the best team in the AFC right now. And what are you guys' thoughts briefly on this game?
Drake May for MVP. Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry is Hunter Henry. Love him. The running game is great. I don't even need to talk about the Patriots. They're going to be fine. They're going to probably go to the divisional round at least. The New York Giants are so bad. It's actually. I wish Alex was on the call right now so I could go in on it.
Oh,
It's embarrassing on how bad this team is. Like, also Jackson Dart, great athlete, whatever. He's an idiot, dude. You're gonna get yourself literally out of millions of tens of millions of dollars by the way you play. This isn't college. They're actually bigger than you now, the linebackers, and they will kill you. That's the reality of the NFL because they need to make tens of millions as well. And how about this? They're all fighting and complaining at the end when they're saying, "Oh, it's a late hit." He's fully running straight ahead on the boundary. He should get cracked on principle. Step out of bounds, guy. What are you doing? You're gonna be the franchise quarterback for 15 plus years right now if you stay healthy. Right now,
Yeah.
you're lucky if you make it to like the next week. It's just embarrassing. And this team's just horrible. There's nothing else to say. They're good. The only bright light of the season is the Jameis Winston touchdown against the Detroit Lions, and that Wan'Dale Robinson might have 1,000 yards, which might get him a nice check.
I will say I love the Pat Patriot throwbacks, though. Those are so nice.
I thought it was a little bit too similar, even though they were opposite on the eyes, like
Yeah,
same
yeah.
colored pants, different color. I thought they should have probably wore a blue jersey, Giants on that.
yeah, I hate when the Bills wear those red uniforms. They look too much like the Pat Patriots. So I wish they would
Yeah.
do away with that red uniform, honestly. But I needed a giant spoiler here, but I wasn't counting on it. They're not built to hang yet. I mean, I think we've identified some pieces on the team. Dart should be their franchise QB. Scattaboo will be their RB1 going forward. Neighbors their wide receiver one. Like, good start with that. And you got some defensive linemen for sure. But other than that, it's like I don't need to hear about this team until they get a head coach and a GM. Like, and then we can really figure out what this team's gonna look like going forward. Because once that's out the window, it's just I don't know. You're trying to be a spoiler, but you're counting on luck at this point. Because I mean, the Patriots 10 in a row, looking like the best team in the AFC for sure. Um, Easier schedule, but they've beaten some good teams too. Like they beat the Bills, they beat the Buccaneers. Like they're they're beating the teams in front of them, so you can't knock them for that. But I will say I still think they have a lot to prove. Mike Vrabel's playoff record not amazing. I think he's like 3-5. So
Mhm.
I don't know. Drake May just hasn't played in the playoffs yet. It's a younger team. It's good that they have vets like Diggs and Matt Collins and um, Carlton Davis. They have some vets that can carry them through a playoff run. I think, but they're still unproven. They still could lose the 1 seed to Denver. I think the Patriots have an easier schedule than Denver does, though.
Yeah,
So
they do. Definitely.
it's just crazy for me to think that the Patriots are going to get back to the 1 seed before the
Uh,
Bills ever did. I mean, like the Bills have been riding like the 2 seed like for the past 5 years, and then like the 3 seed another year. It's like in a year, a down year for the Chiefs, a down year for the Ravens. It's just it hurts, it really hurts. But you can't hate greatness, and I always kind of like Drake May. He just reminded me of Josh from the get go. So like I kind of root for those kind of quarterbacks because
Yeah.
they're just fun to watch. And
yeah.
boy, does he throw a beautiful deep ball. It's kind of crazy. So it's going to be interesting down the stretch. I mean, the AFC, it's just so open, I think, though. Like, even though the
Mhm.
Patriots are in first place and looking great, I can't confidently say who I'm going to have coming out of the AFC yet. I still think there's more to see.
Yeah. Well put. Nice bow on it. We'll come back to the playoff picture, but I want to give out some spot awards. Before we get into the MVP race, I just want to get into the offense and defensive awards, and I'd be happy to kick things off. I thought defensively this week, we'll switch it up this time around. I'm going up to Seattle. Ernest Jones on that back end. Ernest Jones the fourth had two really key interceptions in that game to shut down Minnesota. A huge win for them at home. 7 tackles as well, 5 assisted tackles for loss. I thought that he just stood out, jumped right off my screen. But I want to pass it around. We'll get some defense out of the way, and then we'll jump to offense. Brian, who stood out to you on the defensive side of the ball this weekend?
Defensive side of the ball for me would probably be DeMarcus Lawrence on Seattle's defense here,
Okay.
former Cowboy. 2 solo tackles, a sack, a tackle for a loss, 2 QB hits, and 2 fumbles. Forced fumbles, right? One was scored for a touchdown, I believe. So he's playing outstanding for a guy who's, meant to, be an older player, more of a mentor, having
Yep.
5 sacks on the season and really doing his thing over there. Kudos to him.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to my boy Christian Benford.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah, I kind of had to. I mean, and it was like literally within two. I think it was like 5 plays. He had a fumble recovery for a touchdown after the Joey Bosa sack, and then he had an interception on Davis Mills, and I think he had another tackle for loss too. Like he had a really good game, and it's good to see because he got paid pretty handsomely in the offseason, and to begin the year wasn't looking amazing, and that was discouraging. But you have a performance like that, you're back on the nice list for me. So.
Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, for those at home, full disclosure, I was with Mark during that time, and yeah, he was going off. He had an afternoon. He had an afternoon. You could feel it in the room. That's for
Oh
sure.
yeah, I have it. Yeah.
One of our boys was a huge Pittsburgh fan. He was very dismayed. He was pretty pissed off. So yeah, I think he got the best of him for sure. Offensively on the side of the ball, I'll leave Brian's boy CD for him. He could talk about him, but
I'm not taking him.
oh, okay, all right. You playing a trick? You playing a change up on me? Okay, all right. I had Kamani Vidal over at the Chargers. 25 for a buck 26, 1 touchdown. I think he controlled time of possession and really wore down this Raiders defense, which has been the only thing keeping them on TV, to be honest with you, this year. So I thought he had an amazing game, a guy that doesn't get a lot of love during the regular season. So I'm going to throw this back to Mark here on offense.
I'm gonna go with Jordan Love here. I just think the throws that he made were just eye popping on Thanksgiving, and they really needed that win. That's a tough division. It's just still very close between at least 3 of the teams in the division, and 18 to 30 for 234, 4 touchdown passes. I think that matches his career high, and 124 passer rating. That's what you want from your franchise QB. And it's one of the better days for Jordan Love. We talk about his inconsistency, but if you see more of this, then I think they can go very far this year.
Brian.
For me, it's actually a position group. Dallas's offensive line this week. Must win, allowing no sacks and only 6 pressures. 6 QB hits on 39 dropbacks. I think he did a great job this week holding it down. At home, he loses this game around, in my opinion. Must need Dak with 320 with 2 TDs, getting behind that O-line, plus 137 yards on the ground and a touchdown. So kudos to that position group for holding their own.
Good stuff. Yeah, definitely a skill position, an area of the game that doesn't get a lot of love, but when they're not there, they're not there. And they definitely held it down. It was an important game.
Yeah,
a huge win, and Dallas offensive line was a big part of it. So we definitely appreciate that. Now, quickly, we'll talk. We did discuss a little bit about some of the spot awards, but as in the total picture, as we step back, we got a few weeks left of the season. It's pretty easy to distinguish and kind of tell, who's in the MVP talk. You got your Jordan Loves, you got your Josh Allens, you got your Mahomes, you got Jonathan Taylor hanging in there. There's two guys that really stand out from the pack for me, and I'll open the floor. We'll have a kind of a nice discussion about it. But I think this is really a two-horse race at this point between Stafford and Drake May. And I think for the reasons that it's not just their teams in first place, it's the way they control the game, the way that their offensive efficiency sets the tone for everything else on both sides of the ball. We talk about taking control of a game. They're doing it in their own respects, and it doesn't matter what the schedule has to say. I think that both guys in different parts of their career are really showing kind of how you can make the game so easy for your defense when you're putting up these points and this efficiency. But I think those two guys have really separated themselves across the league for now.
I agree with you. I would say that looking outside of that, right? So it's always, it's a quarterback race. So like, you want Jonathan Taylor in there, it's not going to happen. If it really was a true MVP, most value it might even be Myles Garrett, to be honest with you, just because of dominance, right? A dominance award. But I think if it goes in the right order, and this is not just me being a Cowboy fan, I think if Matt Stafford and May have another bad game, Dak Prescott is going to become more and more close to that MVP right now. Being first in QBR, second in yards, second in touchdowns with 102.4 QB rating right now. The way his team is going, his leadership skills, he had the one bad game already, right? Now Stafford had the one bad game already. May hasn't had it, so he's above me, even though Stafford has the more highlights on offense right now, because I always count it based on bad games. If May has a bad game, which it's going to happen, it's the math, and Prescott brings them. If Prescott wins them the division, he's going to win MVP. That, in my opinion, is the most valuable player.
That's
he
totally.
Wins the division. He's MVP because of this team last year. Think about how it looked like with Cooper Rush as the quarterback.
Yeah, no, if that scenario plays out, I could definitely see Dak stealing the MVP from these two. But I agree, Alex. I think it is. It's really a two-man race at this point. If the Cowboys win out, I think it becomes a three-man race, like Brian's saying. But I think Stafford is my guy at this point. I think he has like 400 less yards, maybe, but just 32 touchdown passes already. I mean, he's going to finish the year with like well over 40. And Drake May's not super far behind. I mean, he's 23. Dak has more touchdown passes, so it's still an amazing season for Drake May. Like, God forbid you don't win the MVP in your second year. And I think we're talking about here.
Right.
I think Stafford, if he takes the MVP this year, that solidifies his Hall of Fame status, in my opinion. I think he's already a Hall of Fame quarterback, but it's going to be hard to argue against him if he does take it this year, which I'd say is my favorite right now.
If he plays out like that, just based on politics of the league, he probably will win it, even if May or Dak have the better season at the end of it.
Yeah.
Do you think it's more important for the way he finished his career at the age of 39 years old at this point? I think he is 39.
I think it's 37.
Oh, 37. Okay, I'm getting
37.
Do you think it's more important to the legacy of his career to win an MVP at this stage in his career, or to win another chip?
Another MVP. I don't know if there's a Hall of Fame quarterback like top 10 that doesn't have an MVP that's in the Hall of Fame.
Personally, I'd say another ring would do him just as good, but I mean, maybe he does both. We're just talking about how the Rams might be the best team in the league, so that would be quite the send off for Stafford.
Hang it up after that. I'm coming home.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing about that argument is that just after he left the Lions, like, you saw what he could do with an adequate roster, and he just carried them in the playoffs that year. And he beat Tom Brady like on a last-minute drive. Like,
that was an amazing game.
Like an amazing throw to Cooper. Like, he has one of the best arms of all time. Like, I don't talk enough about his throwing ability. It's unreal. Like he was making
Anyway,
Mahomes throws before Mahomes was in the league.
no,
Like
yeah.
that's the
Uh,
thing. But he played for Detroit,
it's-
so yeah. I think there is like a little bit of a seniority thing here too. Like unless like May blows his stats out of the water, I think the writers are going to want to vote for Stafford and get him
yeah.
his hardware.
Yeah.
I always think about who's around in the Hall of Fame race when you're about to go in for these accolades, right? So like the
Mhm.
closest guy is going to be Rodgers, right behind, around the same time they'll retire, or like similar accolades, passing yards, TDs, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Rodgers has the one ring, but the multiple MVPs. So if you get the one ring and the MVP, you know what I mean? That's getting the whole well-roundedness. You know, every top quarterback has won an MVP. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like that's what you need. Um, we'll see what happens with him. I want him to win it. I really do, and I want him to win the Super Bowl too, just because I feel like if if you ever wanted to see a true quarterback, watch him as a rookie when he dislocates his shoulder against the Browns and finishes the drive.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like he's a football player.
Now, one wrinkle I haven't added to this mix, and then we'll move on from this topic because we could speculate all day. Um, there's a team out west that has 4 games left, and there's a guy by the name of Christian McCaffrey that has 4 games left to really put his stamp on things. If they win out and he continues his pace at the top of the all scrimmage yards and his impact on the game, I mean, we talk about Shanahan, but this team has been decimated by injuries all across the 52-man roster. Do we give any nod if they move up the rankings, they stay steadily in the playoff race if Christian McCaffrey continues this run?
If they win a division or get, let's say, the 5 seed,
Mm-hmm.
and he hits 1K and leads the league in receptions as a running back, which it looks like he's going to do all three of those things, he'll get at least offensive player of the year, I would imagine.
Okay.
Right? I would give him, because right now I would say it's Jonathan Taylor, but because if Stafford usually, I usually if Stafford wins MVP, they'll give someone else OPOY, and if that's the case, Taylor is falling off. Caffrey's been just consistent. He's the number one running back in fantasy. Like that, I always use that as the easy way to tell. And 1K 2 times in your career, not even close together, far apart,
Yeah, yeah,
and leading the league in receptions as a running back would never. Marshall Faulk didn't do that.
yeah. It's
You
crazy.
know,
Yeah, he's a stud. I mean, he's an all around player. He's a perfect fit for Sam Fran. But I think if he had a chance of winning the MVP, I think it would have been it would be being talked about more than
yeah,
just us right now because I feel like that's the case almost. It seemed like Jonathan Taylor was kind of being pushed into that conversation early on, but like, as we were talking earlier, like he's kind of starting to fade, and it's just I feel like offensive player of the year just becomes like the best running back of the year at this point.
Right.
yeah.
Saquon won it last year. Like I can't remember who won it the year before, but that's just what it feels like because you have that award there. It's like okay, like we'll just keep the quarterbacks at MVP even if they don't really deserve it. But
Yeah. They
Yeah.
need to change that award. They really do. It almost wants to become like the Dan Marino Award or something like that, or like the Peyton Manning Award, like most MVPs as a QB. It's just like most valued player, in my opinion, is more of a comeback. Honestly, if you win comeback player of the year, you probably should win MVP. That's the way I think about it because that means that in your absence, such a difference occurred
Right.
that your people said, "Wow, this team is actually so much better with you around." That's how I see the MVP award. You need to elevate your team to unparalleled heights, right? So, like Drake May with the Patriots, no one expected that. Makes sense. Matt Stafford doing what he's doing right now makes sense. Dak Prescott makes sense. Jonathan Taylor in the beginning makes sense. Like Daniel Jones, technically in the beginning of the season, could have been an MVP candidate, right? So you need to widen the gap so much that people are saying from year to year you transformed a team.
Yeah, all great points. And conversely, just to top things off, I think with the McCaffrey thing, it's a very interesting thought experiment when you look at the thick of things because it's a very competitive MVP race. There's certainly a drop off when you get past 1 and 2, but I'm looking at the totality of what this 49ers team would be with the decimation on injuries on the roster. And we know it's very much attributed to Kyle Shanahan and all the miracles that he works. But I think that we got to give a little love to C-Mac while we're talking this topic. So I appreciate you enlightening me for sure. Briefly, we'll talk playoff picture, and then we'll move on and do our pick'ems rapid fire. We'll keep it brief. Not much movement here in the AFC and the NFC. Still kind of the same players, but I just want to get very light thoughts about just kind of, what potential there is for movement, looking at the teams on the outside, looking in and seeing at their potential to maybe swap for a division or sneak into the wild card. So in the AFC, the number 1 seed, we got New England, 2, Denver, 3, Jacksonville. Moving in comfortably in that divisional spot. 4, Baltimore staying at the divisional there as well. Chargers staying at 5. The Colts at 6, and Buffalo Bills rounding out at 7. We'll talk AFC first. What are your guys' thoughts on where everything is right now in the AFC?
I think the first and second seeds are kind of it's between the Patriots and the Broncos. I could see them swapping potentially. But it does seem like the Patriots have the easier schedule going forward. So it likely could stay the same, but I kind of just see it being either or for those two. But 3 to 7, there could be a lot of movement here. The Steelers and the Ravens are going at it. You got the Jags, they're performing well, but Houston is on their heels, and the Colts are still a 6 seed. And we'll see what happens there. Chargers at 5. You got Kansas City way down at 10, which is just crazy to say.
Crazy.
But I still can't count them out just yet. They're not mathematically out of it.
Nope.
I need a little help at this point, but it's happened. It can happen. I just think there's a lot of room for change between the 3 and the 7 seed. The Bills are holding up the 7 seed, but they kind of need every game at this point to really stay afloat because they're not getting that division. So it's a mess. The AFC's a mess.
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I see right now 2 teams that are not going to make the playoffs. And I don't think the Chargers or the Colts are going to make the playoffs this year. I see drastic drops. Herbert has a broken hand now. To be honest with you, I think Houston gets in. And I think the Bengals win out and get the 7th seed.
Bengals, no.
Really?
I think and depending, they play the Ravens. I think again they are. Let me double check. They might actually go.
That is a hot take.
Yeah, Bengals.
Nico, you hear me at home?
Yeah. Ready? Here's how I see it playing out. Bengals are going to play Bills, Ravens, Dolphins, Cardinals, Browns. So if you can win against the Bills and the Ravens, which I honestly see them doing it because the Ravens is going to be a home game as well, and I see them beating Buffalo even if it's in Buffalo. I'm not worried about Dolphins, Cardinals, Browns.
No,
so what I mean? So if you win out now, what is that? You're 9-8, right? And then you go to the Chargers here, who are 8-4. You go Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Texans, Broncos. I think you beat the Eagles and you lose 4 straight on that one. And then if you go to the Colts, we already talked about them. They're just not looking good either. They go Jaguars, Seattle, 49ers, Jaguars, Texans. I see them winning 1 game there, if that.
I could see that too.
So it's a very good possibility. And I don't like Kansas City for winning right now because Kansas City is Texans, Chargers, Titans, Broncos, Raiders. And I think with the, maybe they'll get the 7th seed. It just, it sees, but, Texans and the Broncos, Raiders is always a weird game, even though they shut them out this year at the last game of the season. Something stupid could happen. I think Bengals could somehow sneak in.
9 wins, really?
Yeah, 9 wins. It's listen, that division is like the NFC, the NFC South of NFC South, the AFC.
Yep.
Wild prediction. I would
keep it on record. It's possible.
Well, look, I mean, I've said that like my favorite player besides any Oakland player is Joe Burrow. I love Joe Burrow, everything about him. But
Joe Coolman
that defense is so fucking bad. It's unbelievable, and
played
it's just
well against
hard.
Baltimore. Played well against Baltimore.
Yeah, but you know what? Like broken clocks right twice a day. There's something weird about those holiday games at night, especially with Baltimore. Lamar gets deer in headlights sometimes, and we'll be clipping that too, Nico. Thank you. And I just think I don't know. It's hard to take an anomalous situation like that and carry it into 5 wins. But I've seen crazier shit. I really have. I love Burrow, root for him, but that defense is just so hard to count on, and you're really asking a lot for the Colts to lose out or maybe win 1 win. I mean, it's realistic. It's just not. If I was a betting man, I would prefer the latter over the former. That they don't.
Oh, for sure. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I was looking at the
Yeah,
schedule and I'm like, wait a second.
3% chance.
This this is a possibility right now. This is on
that's
the table because put it like this: if Joe Burrow's healthy, even with an okay offensive line, it's the best offensive in the league on a skill performance level.
sure, absolutely.
Just have to be consistent, and listen. He needs to score 28 points. Defense needs to only allow 21. That's it.
Well, good stuff. It's certainly a conversation to continue, but I want to move to the NFC side briefly. Again, not much movement. Really weird seeing Chicago at the top. I feel like I'm in the '85 Bears doc, or I'm watching Rex Grossman in 2006. Weird. You got the Rams comfortably at the two seed. Eagles sitting very uncomfortably at the 3 seed. Similarly with Tampa at 4. 5, you got Seattle, red hot Seattle. Green Bay Packers off a win at 6, and San Francisco hanging in there at 7. Guys, NFC, let's talk.
Yeah, I see a lot of change happening here too. I
Mhm.
honestly think that Tampa Bay is going to miss the playoffs this year. They haven't. They play one more game with the Falcons, one more game with the Saints, and then they have Panthers twice. I don't see that. I see them losing to Atlanta, with under Kirk Cousins, and I see them splitting with the Panthers, and just the way this team is going. I just don't like the trajectory, especially with Baker Mayfield having an injury with the non-throwing shoulder on the AC joint, which a lot of people don't realize. It's the most sensitive type of joint in the shoulder, in the body, where anytime a touch, once it's injured, is extremely painful, right? So every time you get in a QB hit, it's like getting a stinger basically all the way up your neck. You're uncomfortable to throw off your game. And then looking at the other positions here, I really see Seattle holding on to the 5 and Green Bay staying at 6. I would say this comes down to the 7 seed here, where Dallas finishes out. If they win this week and then let's say win out, they could go to the division. It's possible they could get the 7 seed. So, there might be some flips in there as well.
Yeah, I mostly agree. I think the Bears, the Eagles could, and the Buccaneers could all fall out of their division leads. I think the Rams will stay. I think the Rams will more than likely reclaim the 1 seed, but still got to give credit to the Bears. If I had to guess teams that could sneak in, I'd say it's either the Cowboys or the Panthers. I just see the Lions fading at this point with the resurgence from the Packers and the Bears this week. Buccaneers just battling injuries all year, and Carolina's kind of getting hot at the right time. So I could definitely see them catching them off guard and claiming that 4th seed. But yeah, if the Cowboys can win out, why not the 3 seed for Dallas, another home playoff game? But yeah, I think a lot of room for a change on this side too.
I'll say one thing I just noticed because I'm looking at the ESPN rankings and the full stats. Chicago Bears are the number 1 seed with only a +6 point differential.
That's
The Rams are at 2nd seed with plus 124.
Yeah, I mean, it just shows you how fragile and unconventional those numbers are. I think the Rams are by far the better team than Chicago. I think Chicago's completely way ahead of schedule. A lot of it is to Ben Johnson's credit, and it's why the Lions have kind of stopped in their tracks to this point. I totally agree on Carolina. I think they're red hot right now. I think that they could easily take that NFC South division, especially with the schedule they have left. Very, very possible. I like where Green Bay's sitting at 6. I don't see much movement there. Same thing with Seattle. San Fran, we'll see. It just depends on how long they can hold on for dear life. They still got a couple tough games against Seattle at the end of the year. Philly, man, Philly's the big one. That's the interesting one. And I think if there's any movement, we talked about it, Brian. The easiest path for Dallas to get in is to win that division. It's going to be tough, but if they're going to get in, they're either by proxy of the 7th seed, and we'll talk about the pick'ems. I think it starts here on Thursday night on that road, but I think the better chance, if they can do it, and it would take a collapse, but it could happen, is to take the NFC East from Philadelphia, from the reigning champs. What a fall from grace that would be. Let me tell you, you would never ever
Yeah.
hearing the end of that if you're Dallas talking to a Philly fan. Never
Well,
get the end of that.
I'll tell you this right now. Just looking at it, if Dallas wins out and if Philadelphia loses to the Chargers this week and let's say the Bills,
Yep.
Dallas will win the division. If they lose to the Commanders based on strength of schedule and the 49ers lose to the Bears and Seattle at the end of the season, Philadelphia misses the playoffs.
Crazy. It's so crazy how that shakes out, dude.
I wouldn't even Santa wouldn't could skip over my house for this year. He could save a couple of bucks. I'd be good.
He's still dropping a turd down your cannon chute there.
Yeah. If he what's his name? Bradley Cooper and Silver Linings with the Philly jersey on. That's what it'd be.
Yeah, dude.
I just love how you figured out the scenario. It's just
I love it.
Peak.
I love it. It's down.
I hate Philly. The craziest part is Desmond refuses to go on the podcast with me and doesn't want to after a big Cowboy win. He just doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
Nico, clip it too. Nico, you're gonna be busy. I hear you at home. But yeah, no, dude. I think Desmond's ducking for a few reasons. Philly sucks and Carolina's good, and he's got a few reasons to watch out right now.
Let him know.
Let him know. I'm putting you on watch, dog. Let's get into the pick'ems because we all need our sleep. Dallas kicking off the start of Week 14, going to visit Detroit. Detroit's still getting 3 at home. The over/under is 54.5, minus 166 for Detroit at home. Is this where Dallas starts their run, or does Detroit bounce back? Brian, what do you got?
This is a 14-point win by Dallas. St. Brown's not going to play.
Yep.
O-line's banged up. Dallas's pass rush is looking great right now. To be honest with you, I think Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark might hold Gibbs and Montgomery to under 100 yards combined. I'm expecting a lockdown of a game. Jameson Williams does not scare me. Jared Goff does not scare me. This is, I keep on looking at schedules. I'm like, all right, we got to prove this team. We got to prove this team. Dallas, if you hear me, a few years back in the playoffs when you thought you were going to go deep, right? A team came in with Jared Goff as a quarterback on the Rams with C.J. Anderson and Todd Gurley, and they ran over you yard after yard for like 270. Well, they basically have the same version of them in Montgomery and Gibbs, and they still have the same guy. Flip the script, kill them. I want to see a 2-touchdown win against this team.
I don't know about 2 touchdowns, but I do have them winning and covering. I just think we talked about it earlier. Like, Dallas is hot, and I think Detroit is kind of fading at this point. And I know it's tough playing at Ford Field, but Dallas plays in a dome, so I think give me that offense with George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb and Javonte Williams. I just kind of see them humming at this point. And yeah, I have them covering, but I kind of, as Dallas gets better on defense, I don't see them hitting this over. That's pretty high, 54.5. So I'll take the under for this game.
Yeah, I would take that. I would take that as well.
Yeah.
Cincinnati going up to Buffalo. Bills getting 5.5 at home. 53.5 is the over/under. Money line is negative 258 for Buffalo. I got to tell you guys, I think, sorry to say, for all the heartbreakers out there, Brian, I think that Buffalo continues to run there. They know what time it is, and they have to win. And I think that's really all it boils down to. They're going to make it happen, whether it's through the air or on the ground. Mark, what are your thoughts, my man?
Bengals have been tough for the Bills. They sent us
I
they
know.
sent us home at home in 2022. So, I'm not feeling amazing about this game with Joe Burrow back all of a sudden. We'll see if T. Higgins is playing this game, but I I I want to take the Bills, but I don't think they cover this. So I think it's probably like a 3 point game if
Hmm.
the Bills do take it. But
Interesting.
I take the under in this game too. I could see it snowing this weekend and a lot of running the football. I just the Bengals defense is just not great, and we saw what the Bills run game just did to Pittsburgh. So I think if they lean on the run, maybe Kincaid, maybe Palmer's back, get Cooks going a little more, passing game is a little better. But yeah, it's if they're gonna go on a run in the times now. They got to figure it out.
Yeah, I see a close game. I see Bengals winning by a field goal here. I just think they're going to edge it out to the better offense, and Bills really can't pressure the quarterback right now, and that's the one thing you need to do against Joe Burrow.
Yeah, absolutely. New Orleans going to Tampa, a 1 o'clock spot for a divisional game. Crucial for Tampa to get back in their winning ways. They're getting -8.5. 42.5 is the over under, minus 44 for 440 on the money line. I'm taking Tampa here, but I don't think they cover. I think this is a gritty Saints team, even though they're bad. Tampa has to win, but it's not a good football team right now. I love the under as well. I'm seeing something like a 22-16 type of game. To be honest with you guys, yeah.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
no, I agree with you too. I think it's gonna be a close game, and Tampa pulls it out at the end. Don't see it. Don't see them covering.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same as you guys here. Divisional game, but Tampa is also trying to hang on to that 4th seed. So
Mhm.
Baker has been a gamer this year, but I don't see them covering, like you guys said.
Nope. Nope. Yeah, there's something weird. There's some voodoo down in Tampa. I don't know. The Bird Bowl, 1 o'clock. Seattle Seahawks going down to Atlanta. They're getting a touchdown on the road. 44.5 is the over under. Minus 360 for Seattle on the road. I'm taking Seattle. I think they're one of the hottest teams in the league right now. This defense is absolutely electric. 44.5 seems like the line for me. I love where that's at. I'm taking Seattle outright by a touchdown.
Yeah, I'll take
Yeah,
them covering for sure. And I'll take the over too because I
Mm,
think Kirk Cousins will move the ball for Atlanta a little bit, but I just kind of see Sam Darnold just throwing moonballs to JSN and hopefully
yep.
Shaheed and that run game that we scoff about is still effective. Um,
Hmm.
so I see them covering that 7 and going over there.
yeah, no, I completely agree with both of you. I'm just laughing that we all really cannot stand the running back room that is the Seattle Seahawks. It's so frustrating. I really want to talk to them, the Clint Kubiak, and just get his understanding of when and when not to play Kenneth Walker.
Yeah,
For real.
interesting setup there.
Well, hopefully he gets his calls at the opportune time. Moving on, 1 o'clock slot. Really good games this weekend. A lot of divisional bad blood. And starting with, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers going into Baltimore. Uh, Baltimore is getting -6 at home. 42.5 is the line. -290 for the money line for Baltimore. Just huge game. Absolutely massive. Um, I had to get one in. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys at home. If you have any liberals at home, sorry. Ravens, I think they continue with their winning ways. I think they see the finish line right at the end there. Pittsburgh is a sinking ship right now. I'm taking the Ravens to cover, and I like the line at 42.5. How about you guys?
Yeah, no, I agree. I see the Baltimore winning by multiple touchdowns in this game. I think Pittsburgh is just toast, and Baltimore has to win out too. It's just one of those things. Like the way this division goes, you don't know day to day. The Bengals are back. They have no choice. This is a must win. I'm seeing a 17-point win at least.
Oh baby,
Yeah, big one.
juicy.
Yeah, I mean, after the Bills played Pittsburgh last week, they do kind of look broken, honestly. And I was saying they might be time to fire Mike Tomlin. So yeah, it's a must win for Baltimore. You're at home, and I think they should blow that 6 points out of the water. And I don't know about a 17-point win, but I think they win more than a touchdown over over Pittsburgh this week. It's just
Yep.
it's time, Like I'm talking about with Josh Allen, it's time. If you're gonna make a run, it's time, Lamar Jackson. Like this is it. You're back, and I know he hasn't been playing amazing after injury, so
Yep.
um, hopefully he's healthy enough for playoff time if they're even there.
I know they got two big fan bases, so I want to drop this in the chat. Anybody at home listening, watching, Pittsburgh Ravens, give us your picks. Put them in the comments. I want to hear from y'all. Moving on, 1 o'clock, we got Indianapolis going down to Jacksonville. Huge AFC South game. Number one in division right now is Jacksonville. Colts holding on for their life, as we talked about early in the episode. 47.5 is the over under. Minus 125 for Indianapolis on the road. I love Jacksonville here outright. I expect them to at least flip the script here on this 1.5, and I like the over as well. I think this is going to be a high scoring game. The weather should be good. This is two warm weather teams that should ball out. So I expect the ball to move, and I like Jacksonville to hold on to their number one with Houston, breathing down their neck. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I see a close game just because of the offenses. I need to see a little bit more from Trevor Lawrence. In my opinion, he's still in bust territory. And needs to continue to prove why he's the number one quarterback. So I want to see a big game from him in the air with Thomas back. Engage Brenton Strange is back, bringing these guys in. But it feels like a field goal kind of win for me by Cam Little.
Good.
Oh yeah, I think Jacksonville takes care of business here. Um, I feel like the Colts have had trouble in Jacksonville over the years, so I think just Cohen has this team in the right position, and I believe they play each other twice coming
Yep.
coming up. So
Mhm.
if they want to hang on to that division lead, you got to take care of business at home, and I think they cover that 1.5, no problem. But divisional game, I could see it being a shootout. I get worried about Daniel Jones' leg there. Hopefully, that's not like
Yeah.
a ticking time bomb because I don't want to see an injury like that. But like I have Jacksonville here for sure, and I'll take the over.
Beautiful stuff. Not so beautiful. If you have any blind kids at home, definitely they're winning out for this game. Miami Dolphins visiting the New York Jets. Dear God. 2.5 is the spread right now for Miami on the road. They're getting 2.5. Okay. 41.5 is the over under. That's probably the lowest I've seen all year. And minus 155. I'll just take Miami just for shits and giggles. I could care less if both teams don't play the rest of the year, but I think the Dolphins take care of business, and I'll leave it at that. I'll give this to Mark because this is his division. This is his territory.
Give me Tyrod Taylor and the Jets with
Oh, baby.
2.5 points at home.
Okay.
I like what they're getting from Adonai Mitchell, at least last game, and John Mechie, who they traded for recently. So I just think they finally realized that, Justin Fields is just not gonna be able to run this offense efficiently enough to keep the morale around the locker room in a decent place. And they've won a few games recently. They have 3 wins. They win this one, that's 4. And I think the fact that they're not playing in Miami is a good thing. And Tyrod he can run the offense. I mean, he's not super flashy, but he's better than what Fields has shown. It's crazy his story and how he didn't resign with Pittsburgh last year, and
I know.
he got a chance, and he just it's tough on the Jets. But yeah, give me the Jets at home.
Yeah, I'll take Miami in this one. I just think they have the better offense, even though Tua is horrible. But That run game with HN is pretty good, and there's a lot of holes now in that defense with Williams gone on the Jets. So we saw last week with the Falcons, them running all over them. So I expect something similar with Miami here. So I see them winning and covering.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And they're technically not eliminated from playoff contention, which it seems unreasonable, but okay. Uh, the other Turd Bowl, 1:00, Tennessee Titans visiting Cleveland.
Oh,
Battle.
what a game!
Oh, I can't wait to tune in, guys. It's going to be great. Definitely a promo for Red Zone, that's for sure. Two rookie quarterbacks going at it. Tennessee, well, Cleveland's getting 4.5 at home. Let's put it that way. 33.5. Dear God, is the over under minus 205. I expect this literally to be like a 10-6 game with Myles Garrett just wrecking shop. I expect Cleveland to win. Whether they cover or not is anybody's business outside of the Cleveland area. So, Brian, what do you got on this game?
You know, I'm in a point differential pool where I got to pick every week a different team for most points differential, and I feel like the Browns might blow out the Titans here, just in the run game and the defense alone. Like the Tennessee Titans are such a bad team week after week that it's very possible multiple things. Judkins runs for like 3 touchdowns. It's very possible against this team. Shador Sanders Jerry Jeudy might become friends and have a 2 TD game. And it's also very possible that Myles Garrett has 6 sacks on Cam Ward and breaks the record this week. That's how bad this Tennessee Titans team is. I just named 3 things below 5% chance that could all very much be feasible against this Tennessee Titans team. I expect the Browns to win by 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like at this point, like Tennessee might as well have a mannequin at head coach over Mike McCoy because he is just like
It's so bad.
Doesn't do anything for this kid, Cam Ward. And I kind of just think Cleveland takes care of business. I see them covering too. Myles Garrett having a good day. Shador Sanders hopefully can, like you said, connect with Jeudy again. Fannin Jr. tight end's been like a pretty good piece for them. And Njoku is always solid. So it's like Cleveland has a pretty solid roster. It's crazy. So I don't know. You keep starting Shador. I think we've seen enough of Dylan Gabriel at this point. But ironically enough, Deshaun Watson's back at practice apparently. So who knows? Maybe we see him by year's end. But yeah, give me Cleveland covering, and let's take the over here since it's oh so low. Maybe Cleveland has a day.
They're gonna airlift some Diddy oil into Cleveland with Deshaun back in the building. The Washington Commies visiting the Minnesota Vikings. 2.5 is the line for Minnesota at home. 42.5 is the over/under. Minus 130 is the money line. I got Washington just for the sake of taking Washington. I think they flip the script and they cover. Minnesota's a bad football team and it's a tanking football team. I like the under here and the money line seems about right. But Brian, is your division? We'll tap on you.
I completely agree with you. I think especially with Terry McLaurin back now, just another weapon on the offense. They looked really good against Denver. Right. To be honest, and
yeah, they did.
Yeah, I'm not really. Minnesota's a dumpster fire. Let's just keep on pouring gasoline on it. Let's want it to burn down.
Yeah, if it's a battle of quarterbacks, give me Mariota over JJ McCarthy or Brosmer or whoever.
Anyone
out there.
Anyone over McCarthy or Brosmer.
Yeah, and yeah, McLaurin changed that offense this past week, even though they didn't get the win. But yeah, I'll take Washington covering, and I'll take the under just because of how underwhelming the Vikings have been on offense.
Denver Broncos coming into my Las Vegas Raiders. Denver getting minus 7.5. That seems low to me. 40.5 is the over/under. Minus 410 for Denver on the road is the money line. I expect Denver to win by 2 touchdowns. I'm not going to shout it. I expect somewhere around that over/under though. I think this is something like a 30-9 type of game. a few field goals. This is one bad team and this is one good team, and there's really nothing else to say. Mark, what do you got, my man?
Yeah, give me although it is a little lower than we would have expected, I guess. Give me Denver covering this one, covering the 7.5. And divisional game like we talk about. Um Browers is still making ridiculous catches every week. Hopefully they can get something from Gene T. But I see Denver kind of taking care of business. I mean, I think you said, Alex, like every home game is an away game in Vegas. So it's like I think they'll have a lot of Broncos fans there, and they continue their run. Hopefully, to get that 1 seed back from the Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Denver by a country mile. This is going to be close. This is going to be a 3 touchdown game. One thing though that a little bit aggravates me with the Raiders is like you're 2-10. Like Geno Smith's gone next season. He's probably gone for good from the league the way he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why not start Kenny Pickett and just like see what happens?
Because they're trying to tank, dude.
But it's like I just don't get like
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with
he's
you.
bad
I
too
watched
though. And
something.
but like this, your quarterback could play great on this team. Your team isn't still not good enough to win a football game against the Denver Broncos. So it's just like just see what happens. Why not?
Yeah. I'd rather go down swinging. I'm totally with you. It's for the integrity of the game, too. I don't like
Yeah, no,
team
I agree.
tanking through 10 weeks of the season. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's sad we have to watch this pathetic team for 20 years. But anyway, moving on, the 4:30 slot, the Rams going into Arizona, -7.5 for the Rams on the road. Arizona's a tough, scrappy football team, even though they're bad. 47.5 is the over-under, minus 425 for the Rams. I'm taking the Rams twice on Sunday. I think this is a red hot football team. I think they bounce back. I think they're pissed the way they lost to a Carolina team. They're back on the West Coast. I'm taking the Rams here by at least 2 touchdowns.
I'm taking the Cardinals by a field goal here.
Whoa.
I feel trap game. Cardinals trapped Dallas a few weeks back, and I was expecting a blowout. This Cardinals team is a lot better than people think. It's very solid on defense. Jacoby Brissett he actually does more than enough. He's a quality starter, honestly, on this team with these weapons, with
Mm-hmm.
Trey McBride, Wilson, and Harrison. And based on how they played last week, I really think that this could be an upset. At home, Phoenix is a very hard stadium to play in. I really think this could come down to the wire, be a field goal. They haven't had enough what is the word? Adversity yet? Yeah, there we
Adversity.
go.
There you go.
There we go. There's that SCT word. Yet the Rams. So I don't know. I could see crazy things happening. I could see a little bit of a drop.
I hear you on that trap game possibility, but I just think after taking that L in Carolina, they're gonna try and take one out on a divisional opponent, place that they're used to playing in. I don't know about 2 touchdowns, but I do see them covering, and I'll take the over just because Jacoby Brissett is adequate enough to run the offense for them to score some points still.
Yeah. Well, only time will tell. I appreciate the cojones on you putting that on the table. Arizona taking a game off the Rams, but I just think this team is pissed, dude. After what Carolina did, but we'll see. I mean, crazier things have happened. It's a divisional game. Last game at the 4:30 slot, another divisional game. I thought this should have been the Sunday night game. I'm just going to be real. Chicago Bears going into Green Bay into Lambeau, the oldest rivalry on the books. The original two teams. -6.5 is the line for Green Bay at home. 44.5 is the over under 340 money line. I've been wrestling with this game all week when I saw the schedule come out, but I got to go down with the ship, and I'm trusting Ben here. I'm taking Chicago. Taking Chicago, guys. I have them winning outright. Probably by a field goal. I see this as a 24-21 type of game. I think it's gonna be brick cold. It's gonna be a lot of ground and pound. It's gonna be a few field goals. We'll check the status of the win and whatnot, but I just believe in this Bears team. I don't care what the schedule says. I think that they're red hot right now, and we'll see. We'll see what's going on.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Listen, I like Chicago, and I think they're going to win too. I think I see it by like a field goal or a touchdown win by them. But it's interesting; they're 5-2 away, and Packers are 4-2 at home. So it really is. This
Interesting.
might be the game of the year right here.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, this is a great matchup. I mean, I'm gonna disagree with you guys though. I think that the Packers kind of showed what they could be last week, and they're going back to Lambeau. I don't think they cover that 6.5 points, but I think they beat the Bears for sure. I think it's going to be a great game. I'll take the over for sure.
If you're Chicago, that 6.5 feels disrespectful.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's because of Caleb Williams, though. That 6.5 is Caleb Williams right there.
Mhm.
The Bears. Um,
Oh, God.
I'm on fire tonight, folks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's red hot.
Yes.
I'm red hot, dude. Red hot. Someone, the only anybody even close to the Raiders that's red hot. Let's just leave it at that. 8:30 Sunday Night Football. Houston Texans going on the road. Kansas City fighting for their life. They're getting 3.5 at home. The over/under is 41.5, and the money line is -180. I'm taking Houston here. I think this is another team that's tanking right now, similar with Pittsburgh. I think that the clock is ticking on KC, and I think they're going to get exposed. I think Houston is way better than most people think to the average fan. People don't tune in for AFC South games, but the defense is fantastic. I think Mahomes is going to get a rude awakening from this Houston team at home.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they're going to get knocked around. I see Houston winning by a touchdown.
Interesting.
Yeah, I want to see Houston do to Mahomes what Houston did to Josh Allen the other night. So I'll take Houston. I'll take them covering too. Honestly, I mean, everyone. Part of me wants to be like, yes, the Chiefs. They're still in it. They're in the hunt, like a couple seats back, but they haven't shown us anything to really believe they can turn the ship around at this point. Like, I just
Mm.
think Houston is getting hot at the right time, and KC is maybe expired.
Very well could be. Very well could be. We'll see. Final game of the week. If you guys can help me out, I don't have the spread here, but Philadelphia Eagles going into Los Angeles. Philadelphia is 8-4. Similarly, the Chargers are also 8-4. Can we get those numbers up real quick?
Philly
Yeah, I'm
minus,
pulling up right now.
What was that?
Philly -3.
-3.
Yep.
What's the over under?
It's 40.5.
40.5. I mean, I just think this is do or die for Philly. I'm taking Philadelphia just for the sake of that. I think Chargers are kind of rest on their laurels. They're feeling comfortable at home. They're taking the week off, beating my Raiders. I'm taking Philly outright, and I think by at least a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm seeing Chargers in a field goal to touchdown win here. You think even with the
Really?
fractured hand? Yeah, I think even with at home field advantage, even Herbert with the broken hand, I just think they have more of a humming offense than Philadelphia has right now. And with the weakened O line that is Philadelphia right now, Khalil Mack and the boys on that defensive line are going to turn up. And I just see it being a very rough game for Jalen Hurts. And when you make him uncomfortable, he's a shit passer. I'm gonna call it the way it is. I'm not impressed by him as a quarterback. I don't see them pulling it out.
Yeah, these
And
are
you got to remember, it's an 8 o'clock game with a long flight. So it's like
True.
East to West Coast games are always weird.
yeah, they really are. Definitely two desperate teams right here.
Yep.
But I kind of think Philly is gonna pull this one out, and I'm just kind of basing that off of their pedigree over the past few years.
Yep.
I don't know. I think offensively, like if they're not making changes, like I don't know what they're doing, and I know it's like Ryan was talking earlier, like their offenses is very limited and predictable, and I just, but it's still the same roster, and
Yeah, I know. I look at head
that's
coaches then.
yeah, but they are missing Lane Johnson, so that's that's something that hurts them time and time again. But playing at SoFi, I feel like it's going to be a lot of Philly fans, and it's do or die at this point. And it's looking like it's going to go down between them and Dallas if Dallas is keeps playing like they have been. But give me Philly covering, and I'll take the over too.
Good stuff. Good stuff. We shall see. Week 14 is going to be a banger. You folks at home, enjoy. While you're at it, go ahead and like and subscribe. Yards After the Catch podcast, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram. We got it all. We got it all. Thank you guys so much for being here. What do you guys want to say? Any thoughts?
I'll just follow and subscribe and go Bills.
Check out our content.
Yeah.
3 things: faith, family, and football. Take care. Brush your hair. Have a good one.
I love it. Short and sweet. Gray sweatshirt gang. Got to represent. No, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys, Mark and Brian, for another great week. It's been a lot of fun. This is my therapy, so I appreciate y'all.
Anytime.
And anybody at home, catch me on Instagram. That's where I be. I have a couple other shows I do on a weekly basis. Yeah, that's what's up. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Take care and have a good week. Peace.
Be good.
Good night.